Hey, turn on the light, Mildred. Tell it like it
we
is.
had to
Give the money back.
we had to take them and give them the money back. Mom, Daddy made us give us all the money.
I remember clear.
Yeah,
Now,
I was in on.
Well,
I probably she did that. We was living in the home
Home
place
place
then.
when because I came home in an ambulance from having
Yeah.
it's
Birthday is the
we ain't
16th
even
of
sung
December.
happy birthday.
She's the
To
last
nobody.
Me and Vilma did when it
Yeah,
that
I
church
did.
party. Why did they? I told her, I said they should have had that the celebration for your party. You was their pianist and all that stuff. And they don't do nothing for me down there. They don't even on Christmas. They never do anything for me. And then
Well,
they said,
Aunt
"Why?"
Louise,
Because
if
she
y'all
was to me. It don't matter to me. I just don't.
I guess
Aunt Louise.
all the women you got.
But look at all the women you got here, hon. I got a homing device.
They some of them things that I hear somebody.
Well, look, let Sudila talk to
That
us
really
something
helps.
first, because she was back some about the first things they remember. You want to do that first, because back when you live up there at the mill place, back him having that, you know, they had that y'all riding down there and jumping off into the lake and all that stuff. You come here and talk first, because see, that happened first, then we'll talk about when we get to Belgium.
I don't know.
Okay, JT, I want you to tell me when you were born. The day.
I don't remember when I was born.
The day. Do you know your birthday?
That's it, ain't it? You mean you want to tell him when my birthday is?
Yeah, when your birthday is.
6th day of April, 1920 is when I was
And where were you born?
up at Richland, up next to Westminster.
Next to Westminster.
Little community they call Richland.
Uh-huh.
Community.
That's up in I reckon it's in Oconee County.
Were you born in a hospital?
Well,
They
then
didn't know what a hospital was.
Hey, did a doctor deliver you?
Lord, I don't know.
Probably midwife, we all
Probably
midwife.
Well, now, a doctor delivered me, so it might help.
It is, so you had a doctor, had you?
Right there.
Oh,
She was born in Georgia, too.
She's a Georgia
they run over to Georgia to do that.
Okay, JT, how far back do you remember? What's the first thing you remember? And how old?
Well, I tell you, I told Mama about this, and she said, "Son, you just can't be saying that. You don't remember that. You just heard somebody else talk." I said, "All right, did you ever tell me anything about it?" She said, "No, but we lived at Honey Path up at Moonville.
Yeah,
Up there, and the porch went almost all the way around to the house.
that house is still over.
And while we were there, they backed a apparatus up there and bored a well at the end of the porch. And Mama said you can't remember that. Said you wasn't but about 18 months old. I can't help it. I remember it. I said did you ever tell me about it? You ever said anything about it in front of me? Did you remember it? She said no.
But we did live in the Moon House. It was in Moonville, they called it.
The
In
store
Honeypot.
was across the
The
street.
store,
Okay.
that's where they had church.
They had church in it for a while.
That's where they had church.
See,
Now,
you
I don't
and
remember.
him can tell.
Hey, I don't remember far back at all, because about the first thing I remember was I was pretty good size. I was almost old enough to go to school.
I tell you, we lived there. I don't know how long.
I don't think.
No, I'm just gonna sit.
we lived there all that long.
But we would.
They did have a store in that across the street, and when they took the store out, well, we had church.
She brought that from
put
the
it in
chair.
and
Go out
one-
and sit,
one
go out and
time
stand up
they-
to when I got a
they
chair.
marched.
Yeah, that's what it was.
From up there over to the hall, they called it,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
the old hall. They
The
had
hall
church
where
over
they had
there.
the church over there. And I told Mama, I said it was long about that same time.
And you was about 2 years old then, wasn't you?
But hey, she said I was about 18
Well,
months old.
well,
18
lots
months, 2
somewhere
years
down
old.
there. Well, it's maybe.
Well, you
A
just.
lot of people can remember.
Well, I
You
was-
had a sharp mind.
Okay, now JT, that was where?
That was
Honey.
Honey Path. Okay, then where did do you remember where we went from there?
Well,
Or where y'all did?
we
You wasn't no
we lived down between Honey Path and Ware Shoals.
where Gaynell was
country.
born? Is that where Gaynell was born?
Gaynell was born, we lived in two places down there.
I don't know. I
One
remember
place
one.
was right on the road, and then you went on down there and went off the road, and down in there's where I had.
But I
where
tell you, we
Gaynell was
lived down
born.
there at Christmas time one
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, and they hit the same Sunday.
And what sticks with me so much is that we got a red wagon,
Yeah.
and it had,
Sure did.
and the wheels had spokes in it. It wasn't solid.
Uh-huh.
And we got out there one day, and we decided we was gonna see how the wheel would look without the spokes in it.
Oh,
And it was right new, you know. And so Daddy, he was working up there in the mill, and he got a gear, found the old gear up there that was about the same size and had about the same size hole on it, and he brought it.
But that's what everybody used to make their wagons out of. They'd get them out of the mill and build.
But-
What, use those gears like for the wheels? Let the,
Yeah.
It wouldn't be big.
Oh, it was-
They
it was
get
about that
different
big.
size.
They different size.
yeah.
What you mean?
I'm gonna turn that, I'm gonna see if that looks kinda like it was washing you out, let me see. I might have to turn it back on.
Because this is pretty dark
Or
in that
turn
corner.
one up here.
No, that looks better.
Turn top light on.
Where's the,
That's one over here.
Turn top light
And
out.
then the there's a lamp over there too.
Yeah, probably.
One of them burned out on
But I remember, now that was when I was real small.
You don't have it on, and I'm gonna ask, do you?
I got it on.
But
Why? Well, is it something you
no,
don't?
yeah, I wanna see first. If
Okay,
you wanna
okay.
Put it on there, and then if you want to, well, you can put it on.
Okay, say it again now, cause we don't care.
She said, did we have the itch? And I said, how many
Well,
times
now
did we
that's
have
how-
it?
Well, now that's where I remember
We had to sleep with
people's
with each
kids. They'd stick us in the bed
You can't sleep with everybody else's children.
But Mama
See,
wanted.
when Mama would be running a revival somewhere or another, she'd take us along, and then we'd had to, wherever they shacked us up, we had to go.
But no, now what made me?
And I tell you something else we had too. Lies. Mama kept my hair cut.
We want
All
this clean.
preachers' kids had to
We
do
want
that.
this clean. Let's cut.
Mama always let them cut my hair, just take the clippers and go.
They didn't put no locks.
The clipper.
She didn't put no Larkspur lotion on it?
One thing about
Had fine comb.
one reason I was asking him that, I never will forget it. Now, I really don't remember all that many times. We probably did, and then on in the oh yeah. But when we had that, well, Mama, she couldn't stand it because we would scratch, so you know. And
It's
she
usually
didn't-
what is between your fingers most
well,
of the time.
she wrote headquarters and asked them about. Usually, you know, see, they were lots of the preachers was on divine healing, and some people was against that, and they told Mama back, said some people, it was an epidemic, everybody was having it. It wasn't just our family.
No, yeah.
But said it
We
because
catching
Mama
somebody.
said that they wrote her back and told her, said Sister Hanvey, said some of them are trusting the Lord and scratching on, and some of them's using something and getting rid of it. Now they didn't mean God couldn't heal it, but
Yeah, but
what
you
he
have to-
meant for her to do something. And
Yeah.
whatever it was she got, it stopped terrible.
Is that right there?
Larkspur lotion.
No, it was
Larkspur
something
lotion.
sulfur. Something it was
Sit aside.
Sit aside.
Sit aside. That's what it was.
That's what they used it easily,
It's
so I
like
guess
rotten
they.
They're like rotten eggs.
Okay, after we had the itch, I mean,
All right.
y'all had the, after y'all.
We had it too.
I know it.
Later on.
I remember that. Okay, now, JT, after that.
You go, after you left Ware Show.
After you left where shows.
Well, I mean, we never did live right in Ware Shows, I don't believe, did
Well,
we?
wherever y'all lived there, you know.
Oh, we lived out of
Well, actually, I don't remember.
We,
What happened? where did you go from where shows?
Do you remember anything about Janelle, when Janelle was growing up,
When she was born?
or when she was born?
I'll tell you, we had so many babies so
Well,
quick till it seemed like we.
Well, do you know anything about Carl?
See,
Oh,
our lives
yeah.
about Carl.
You know anything about what something that you and Carl did when y'all was little? Cause we don't have anything about Carl on them tapes.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
Well, the
Yeah,
wagon
they
wheel.
tore the wagons up.
That was,
Okay,
Carl.
what else?
That was Carl too.
What else?
Yeah,
Did
he
you?
was in there. See,
Carl was the one that was
about
going to
4
see.
years older than me.
Yeah.
Well, listen, was it you or Carl that sat on Ruth's, cap, trying to keep her from going back to school one time? You know, they were looking for a cap or something. I remember Mama telling
Oh.
about it. That might be
That
Carl.
was Carl. Now that episode was, we all tried to cover Ruth up. We all that was in
Had
the
her
car,
hid in the
hid
car.
her in the car. And, we was trying to keep her quiet. And, we was telling her no, cause then Mama heard us back there. And they looked back and said,
Do you remember when? Do you remember when Mom and them had sent Ruth to Silver Springs?
No.
Cedar Springs.
No, I
You don't
don't
remember?
even remember that.
But do you remember
I do know, I
She
remember
went.
going to
Yeah.
to see her?
Spartanburg.
What were you on the bus when Grace died?
Coming
You know, on
from
that
Oh,
when
from
they
Dillon?
she.
Yeah.
Yeah,
coming from
we was
Dillon.
on-
Do you remember anything about that day or anything?
I don't remember a whole lot.
Okay. Well
We
then,
was on the bus. We was in the bus.
yeah.
On the bus.
Is that for the time that Daddy had to back the bus up the hill?
No,
that was over here.
No.
Do you remember
Well,
that?
That was when we was moving back up.
We was at Belton. What? We lived at Belton. We'd go to Easley. They'd go to Easley to in between Belton and on that crooked road.
So
going
Dina
to-
took us through there.
And
We
we
go through Pills and go easily. No, that. Tell them about when we moved to Dillon.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when we was all on the
yeah.
truck?
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us.
What, like the Beverly Hillbillies?
Daddy was working in Old Anderson Mill, and he bought a strip down. I called it a stoop down.
Oh, if they call them pickup trucks now.
What it was, it was a truck without any body on it. It just the chassis. And Daddy built a body on it because it's getting ready to go down to Dillon.
Well, I bet it did look like Beverly Hillbillies.
And we was all on there. Well, what young as it was, I believe Velma was about to. She was born
She
while
was.
we lived up.
I was born in Anderson. Grace was born down lower part of the state.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you was already born.
Yes,
I
I
say you was born.
I was
you
delayed.
late.
Yeah.
Cause we lived on 2 houses over there. One on East Street and one on the on
H.
L-E.
Yeah, was where we moved from.
Anyway, the streetcar come down right in front of it.
Right, when we
I
moved
remember
down
that.
to M Street.
And it was a 2-store house where Velma was.
Yeah, that was over there on 6 East Street.
It was next to the school up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
Glen Street School.
See, I was
That's where I
6.
started school.
That's where I started.
I did too.
Glen Street.
I did too.
But Daddy built this bed on the back of this truck. And he put all the furniture on. And
Fixed us places.
fixed
to
us
sit.
place up on top, piled us up on
Well,
top.
did you know he is like the Beverly Hillbillies?
And he had a top on it like a mountain wagon. He had a- we took off from Anderson,
That was like going to California.
and it's like going
It's
across
dirt
the world.
roads.
Yeah.
We went and we went and we went, and we
Well, the
wasn't,
car
we
didn't
wasn't
go
riding
fast,
on
did it?
tar and gravel road or paved road. We were riding on dirt road.
Oh,
Yeah.
they probably
The
wasn't
ruts,
smooth.
they
They-
were probably-
Right.
Ooh,
How fast
and
did that
it
truck
seemed
go?
like we went across the world.
To children, I'm sure it did.
When we got there.
We got to down to Dillon, and they was practicing for a Christmas play.
It was in the winter.
They moved in November back then. The moving time was in November. And so started, he was wanting to find out if it was the right place. And they unloaded us, and then them people got scared to death. They thought Pharaoh's army had come. When they got through practicing the play, they didn't say, "Come on, go home with us." Daddy asked them, said, "Can we sleep in the church?" And they said, "Yeah."
They scared.
And so they had a pot-bellied stove in there, and some coal.
We got it warmed, didn't we?
And Daddy, he would wake up every once in a while and put some more coal on the fire. But we took and
Turn benches together.
turned 2 benches around and laid the springs.
Well, y'all was smart doing that, knowing what to
Laid the
do.
springs in there and the mattress on it.
What?
Mama knowed how to take
That's
care
like
of
a
it. Mama
man.
and Daddy know how to take
And we slept. We didn't go home with nobody, but we slept.
That's probably very
Hey,
important, because
JT,
you might
I'll
not
tell you,
know
there
you
was
went
one
home
of
with
the
somebody.
ladies.
Yeah.
I'm butting in on his talking, but
What are you supposed to
there
do?
was one of the ladies that come out there the next morning and brought us. We went to her house and eat because. And after that though, they'd say, "Sister Hanvey, y'all please don't ever tell nobody.
Was
Just
that
don't
at
tell
Dillon?
nobody."
Did you say that was at Dillon?
Dylan.
Dylan.
Cause I had heard it.
Well,
they
they thought
didn't remember
Daddy
what
was
it
a. They thought Daddy was drunk.
Oh.
See, Daddy
But I
come
went
in
all
and
that
just
far.
sit down at the
Overall.
back. So he just come in and sit down at the back and waited. But said, they told us this later. They said that, but said it, someone said, well, said if he is, he got out on his knees to pray when we prayed.
They wasn't no paved street in it.
No.
They wasn't on no paved street, and it
No.
was sandy. Sandy, you couldn't hardly walk.
Yeah.
You're down on Fire
Sandy.
Stick.
And then,
But from Anderson
And
to
then,
Dillon seemed like
now-
across the border. Did you and Carl get into anything down there, or was Carl's? You remember anything, you and Carl done, or?
Oh goodness, no, I don't know.
We
We've
was
done
good
so much.
kids.
I know we played around out there. We moved down in a section there. It was an old sawmill
yeah.
where they made
Oh, it had,
lumber mill.
it had about 2 or 3 stories, didn't it?
Yeah, it
We
was
could
lumber.
climb it.
And we played all over that thing. But
That was fun, wasn't it?
That was all kind of fun with Oh, you don't remember when we moved out to, where Grace was born out there? at Little?
Oh yeah, I ain't got her do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
got to that yet,
Yeah,
Russ.
that was
That's another
we
story, wasn't
moved
it?
so much that you
I
have to
know we
have to
did.
kind of.
Yeah.
Digest
what I was
Yeah,
trying
get
to,
your mind
that's what I
working.
was trying to do,
Well,
was to
we,
go,
We left.
I'm trying to go over
I
them
used to
muddy
stay in
roads.
there. That church was a frame building, kind of had a T on it, and that was a.
Had Sunday school rooms on it? Did it have Sunday school rooms at the time?
Sunday school rooms.
Oh, that was good. Most places we remember was the square ones.
Had it kind of on the side.
Uh-huh.
But we stayed. They got us half down there in the section where the lumber mill was, and we played all around there. And I wonder when he got snake bit.
Yeah.
It was a swampy place down there.
It was swampy.
It hadn't been cleaned out around there.
Well, the Lord just
Mill
took
had
care of
been-
you.
The lumber mill had been shut down. And, let's see, I don't know where we moved from there, unless we did move out
I believe we moved out to
to-
Little Rock, I believe, from.
out there.
Was Grace Walk-
near,
Cause
Grace
they was
was
a church
born in
there,
Bunker
they
Hill.
had 2
near,
churches.
near Bunker Hill.
Well, Grace was
Bunker
born in
Hill.
Bunker Hill, wasn't she?
Yeah.
What Grace-
And,
But we lived 2 places there. We lived at one place in
Yeah.
a little house, and then we
I
moved that
had
house where,
I did have,
where the kitchen was off.
Bunker Hill.
Yeah, Bunker Hill
That's where
Beach,
Carl.
I did have a picture of where we lived out in the country there.
We have to
Bunker
put
Hill.
that on there.
Out from Bunkers Hill. I don't have that. I don't have no picture of the
You
one
remember us cutting
where
our shoes?
where we had the.
See, there
You
it was.
Do you remember us cutting our shoes
I have.
down the back? Cause wanted to go barefooted when we come,
But what I was going to tell you, we moved in the house when we moved from Dillon. We moved in the house that the kitchen
was off.
was
Yeah.
set off from the main
That's
part
where
of
we
the house.
done it.
And there wasn't no windows in the house. It was just shut.
Shutters come on the
Just-
windows.
just-
You'd had to open them up.
Just open
They
it
didn't
up.
have these,
Just open
didn't
up
have
those
screens and
screens.
things on the windows.
They know
did
what
they?
screens
When
was.
it snowed while we lived there, and the shingles,
Let Otter
There's a
tell about
wooden
when she was a
shingle.
little girl.
and it filled us through, but we had so much cover on us, we couldn't hardly turn over. And old Roger,
Oh,
The
look.
mummy ain't
Roger, he lay across our feet.
Keep on
The
moving.
dog kept you
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, and somebody
Brother
killed
Roger
him now.
Looney, give us a dog, and we named him Roger.
That was an honor, wasn't it?
Somebody died, somebody
But they
killed
got
him
some
there.
dogs, they have to have
They-
somewhere.
we
Yeah.
and now that was a place where Grace was born.
Barn.
Grace was born there.
That's
And
what-
she was born the day after my birthday.
Yes,
That's
sure.
right.
I was 7 years old on one day, and she was born the next.
That was happening very often.
And of course, that wasn't nothing new to have a baby around.
Oh, another
But
girl.
aren't we glad? Aren't we
Yeah,
glad
as a
there's
girl,
so
after
many
me,
of
after
us?
me,
Hey, Daddy
Girl,
would
all
say,
boys.
To JT.
oh, thank you,
Started-
Junior.
Protect them to Curtis.
started off a girl and a boy. Ruth, Carl, Sue Dealer, and me, and then they forgot about the boy.
Yeah, for a
The
long
rest of them was girls on
But
down to
Daddy
Curtis.
would, Mama said Daddy'd come in and he'd say, another girl.
But we,
Well, he's remembering.
but now that was
Good.
where
Better than any of us.
somebody might want to know where we almost got hungry.
Oh, well, okay, tell about
Okay,
it.
tell us about it.
And,
Tell us anything you
but-
want to tell us. That's all right too, Curtis. JT.
But God always provided.
Yes, he did.
He always provided. Look how healthy we all been.
That morning, this morning I was fixing to tell you about, Carl, he would always get up and go out and build a fire in the stove. I had a wood stove. And then he would got up to go out there and as he went by the bed where Mama was at, Mama said, son, there's no need to build a fire in the stove this morning. Said we hadn't got anything in the house to cook. And he looked over at Mama and said, didn't the ravens feed Elijah? She said, yeah. He said, well, they can feed us too. Said, I'm going to build a fire in the stove. And he went on out and built a fire in the stove. And when that stove got hot enough to cook bread, there was flour in the house.
Oh,
And a whole lot of other stuff.
yes, sir.
They was a T model. And some of y'all don't know what a touring is.
What?
Touring,
touring
T
car.
model touring.
Y'all had
Touring.
And you didn't have a top.
It's
Like a like a
So
two-seater
you have to have, where you have
convertible.
to have curtains up on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's like a
yeah.
two-seated convertible.
Yeah, we had one,
It was,
1940.
But it was, but it was
but
a
anyway,
newer model.
some people don't know what you're talking about when you say
I didn't know what
touring.
you called it, I didn't know what you called it, but, okay.
And so we drove up in the yard. That time the stove got hot enough, and the back end was loaded down with groceries.
It was, everything
And-
good.
and-
Now,
and-
that was kinda like they were at Dillon. The lady, one of the men that brought it told Mom and them, said his wife told him, said, I think, I'm kinda worried about that, said, Brother Ham and them's got, those children and we'd moved, and said, they got around then and got some stuff up, said, I feel like they need it. See, the Lord was
Lord
working.
told her that.
Yeah.
But that was out near Bunkers Hill. That was between McCall and Dillon.
Dillon, yeah.
And the way in my mind, there's a picture. In my
I can
mind,
see it, me too, J.T.
Bunkers Hill Church never had been painted.
Uh-uh.
It just framed. It never had been sealed. And I don't think it had any windows in it.
They had them opened up like the house. Shut it thing.
But and it was sway back, I call it. The top went this way. It didn't have enough braces in the top. And if anybody said anything about Bunkers Hill, well, that flashed up in my mind. We had a preacher that was preaching over here one day, and he said something other about Bunkers Hill. And I said,
You could
"Whoa,
see
that
that,
ain't gonna
too.
work. He ain't old enough." In my mind. And quick as service was over, I grabbed him and I said, "Now listen, I want you to tell me what you know about Bunkers Hill, 'cause you're not old enough to know nothing." And he said, "Well," said, "my grandmother was a member of that church." His grandmother. But he didn't know, really didn't know anything about it, but he was just,
He brought that up.
he brought it up on account of his grandmother was. And I told him, I said, "Well, I can when you said Bunkers Hill, I could see that church." And I couldn't get it out of my mind till I found out what he knowed and how come him knowing about it. So he wasn't old enough to remember the church.
Hey,
I said, "Whatever happened?" I said, "I've asked preachers a whole lot older than you. Whatever happened to that church?" And I said, "None of them can't tell me."
They must have consolidated it in with Dillon.
And he said, "Well, I tell you what happened." Said it got down pretty low, and members, some of the old members, they wanted to, they didn't kind of wanted to hang on to it for a while, but then they finally just decided it'd be better because they couldn't support a preacher.
What?
And in fact, they wasn't supporting a preacher when we was there. It was they had Bunkers Hill and
The only place
and,
we ever lived that they
and
kind of
Dillon.
supported was at Belden just before everybody got married.
and but
Easily.
we left there and went up there to another house. We lived in so many houses. I know I can't remember. I can't remember all of them.
Because we
But,
lived in lots. Oh, JT, we moved in a house.
Oh, don't
Where
let
they
him
had
leave down there
stored-
before he tell about the shoes.
Well,
Y'all
that's right.
cut up the
Well,
shoes.
that was it. Hey, that was there where Grace was born.
Yeah, well, tell about
Yeah,
it. Tell us.
Well,
Sure.
JT might not remember it, but he might, maybe he didn't cut his shoes, but I thought all of us did. We wore
My
our
dad,
top shoes. I think we all
me
did.
as the rest.
I think we all did. I think the whole bunch, there was another bunch of kids too around there. We all walked to school. We went to school up in Little Rock.
Yeah. Let me tell about it.
Okay.
We walked to school, and we had to walk about 2 miles.
Sure did.
And you say 2 miles? School? Yeah, we walked.
We walked 2 miles.
And then we get out there on that dirt road, on that sandy road with our bare feet and the shoes, and you get sand in it, you couldn't hardly wear them if you had them on. But we walked from there to out to, they called it Little Rock. And this man that I was talking to you about, Brother Huggins, y'all probably all know him.
Yeah.
Brother Huggins, he's pastor up at Pickens now.
Yeah, I know.
I've heard of that.
He was
I've heard
across
that name.
hill.
Yeah.
Donald's one.
And anyway, he told me, he said they moved the members that was there at Bunkers Hill out. Said some of them went to Hamer.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
I
don't know
never did
Hamer.
go to Hamer, but I know where it's at.
I don't know.
now,
I don't know
going
Hamer.
right there.
I don't know a thing about it other than Brother Stevens there was pastor here one time. But we walked back and forth to school. I wanted to tell that because I remember that.